Ladies and gentlemen, imagine, if you will, a world where stories were once confined to the pages of books or the frames of a television screen. Then, a seismic shift. A digital portal opened, and from it emerged a new generation of heroes, artists, and dreamers. This is not the prologue to a new fantasy anime, this is the real-world saga we are here to celebrate, the complete life story of the man who helped build that portal, the visionary, Go Gun-hee. In the first act of our story, our main character was not a CEO in a sleek suit, but a creator with a spark in his eyes. Think of him not as a final boss, but as the passionate, slightly nerdy side character who had a revolutionary idea. His power level wasn't measured in strength, but in an unshakable belief that everyone should have a platform to share their stories. He saw a world where a student on a bus, an office worker on a break, could dive into a universe of art and narrative with a simple scroll. His quest to democratize storytelling itself. Imagine the opening sequence of a classic Korean anime. We don't start with a shot of a gleaming skyscraper or a powerful CEO in a corner office. No, we start small. We open on a young man, not so different from the protagonists we cheer for, perhaps a bit like the determined, hardworking Il-sung from Solo Leveling before his awakening, or the passionate but overlooked Mori-jin from the God of High School in his early days. This is our hero in his origin story, Go Gun-hee. He isn't born with a silver spoon or immense power, his strength lies in something far more potent and often underestimated in the first act, a profound, unwavering passion for stories. In these early scenes, his training montage isn't about physical combat, but about creative struggle. He's in the trenches, not of a dungeon, but of the creative industry. He understands the hunger of artists and writers, that burning desire to see their worlds and characters connect with an audience. He knows the feeling of having a universe locked inside your mind, with only a sketchbook or a word processor as the key. He wasn't a distant, corporate final boss, he was a fellow player in the game, grinding through the lower levels. He felt the same frustrations, the gatekeepers, the limitations of traditional publishing, the fear that a brilliant, colorful story might never see the light of day because it didn't fit a pre-existing mold. His awakening moment wasn't a flash of lightning or a system notification, but the emergence of a revolutionary idea. He looked at the world and saw a new frontier, the smartphone. He saw people everywhere, every day, with these powerful portals in their pockets, and he asked a simple, world-changing question: what if the stories came to them? What if, instead of seeking out entertainment, the entertainment flowed seamlessly into their lives, as accessible as a text message and as captivating as a blockbuster film? This was his unique skill, his exclusive authority, the vision to see the potential for a new form of narrative art, built not for the static page, but for the dynamic, vertical scroll. This is the core of the unlikely hero archetype. He didn't conquer the industry with sheer force or overwhelming financial power from the start. He did it with a philosopher's conviction and a strategist's mind. He was building the academy, the guild hall, the very game server itself, before he even had a full roster of players. He had to convince other artists, these talented but often solitary, mages, and warriors, to believe in his blueprint for a new world. He wasn't just offering a platform, he was offering a paradigm shift. He was telling them, your art, your stories, can be the next great adventure for millions, delivered directly into their hands. Let's build this kingdom together. The initial battles weren't against monstrous beasts, but against skepticism and the inertia of the status quo. The system of traditional publishing was a powerful, established foe. But our hero's resolve was his ultimate weapon. Every obstacle, every technical hurdle only served to level up his determination. He was fueled by that central, shonen hero belief, that everyone deserves a chance to share their story, and that the world is richer for every new voice that finds its audience. This unwavering spirit, this commitment to the dreamers and the creators, is what truly defined the first act of Go Gun-hee's epic. It was the humble, powerful beginning of a journey that would, quite literally, redraw the map of modern storytelling and create a vibrant, animated universe for a generation to get lost in. Imagine the world of comics before the revolution. It was a fantastic world, to be sure, but one that required a pilgrimage. You had to journey to a specialty store, navigate towering shelves, and carry your treasures home in a bag. The experience was static, like admiring a beautiful, framed painting in a museum. Then, our visionary, Go Gun-hee, alongside other pioneers, looked at this established order and asked, what if the painting could move? What if the museum came to you? This was the genesis of the webtoon revolution, a shift as dramatic as the moment in an anime when a character first learns to channel their ki or mana and sees the world in a new, vibrant light. The smartphone screen became the new canvas, but it wasn't just a smaller page. That was the first, masterful insight. The old, panel-by-panel format was like a series of locked doors. You had to open each one, step through, and then find the next. The new format, the vertical scroll, was something entirely different. It was a flowing river, an unbroken narrative current. This was the invention of a new kind of magic. With a simple swipe of a finger, a reader could now orchestrate the story's pace. They could linger on a breathtaking, full-color splash image of a celestial dragon soaring through the clouds, or race down through a rapid-fire sequence of action panels as two super-powered beings clashed in a city-shaking battle. The reader was no longer a passive observer, they became the scroll wielder, the one controlling the flow of the animation in their mind. It was interactive, immersive, and perfectly in tune with the rhythm of modern life. This revolution was about more than just convenience, it was a fundamental rewriting of the rules of artistic engagement. Sound effects were no longer just words on a page, they were integrated into the art itself. The letters of boom would shatter the background as a building collapsed. A character's whisper, written in a soft, cursive font, would seem to drift off the screen. Some webtoons even incorporated limited animation, a falling tear that glistened, a character's chest rising and falling with a breath, or a background that subtly shifted, blurring the line between a comic and an animated short. This was a multi-sensory experience designed for a generation that processed information visually and dynamically. It was a training ground for the imagination, preparing readers for the full-blown anime adaptations that many of these stories would one day receive. Furthermore, this new system was inherently democratic. Just as in an RPG where a commoner can become a hero, the platform allowed anyone with a story to tell and the artistic skill to draw it to reach a global audience. There were no gatekeeping guild masters barring the way. A student in Seoul could create a story that an office worker in Sao Paulo would read on their lunch break. A new artist could post their first chapter and, if it resonated, see their popularity points and subscriber numbers skyrocket overnight. This created a living, breathing ecosystem of creativity, a vast and ever-expanding universe of stories ranging from epic fantasy and heart-pounding action to slice-of-life romance and laugh-out-loud comedy. Go Gun-hee's vision helped build the very infrastructure, the magical academy, the adventurers guild, that empowered this new generation of storytellers. He didn't just create a platform, he championed a philosophy that the next great epic, the next story that would capture the hearts of millions, could come from anywhere, and that everyone deserved a front-row seat to watch it unfold, one breathtaking scroll at a time. Think of the most ambitious anime worlds, those vast universes where the fate of the planet might be at stake in one storyline, while in another, the central drama is whether a character will get a date to the school festival. The genius of the world that Go Gun-hee helped cultivate is that it embraced this entire spectrum. This wasn't about building a single, monolithic kingdom for one type of hero, it was about creating a multiverse, a vibrant constellation of realities all accessible from the same digital gateway. Under his guidance, the platform became a grand library of Alexandria for the digital age, but instead of silent scrolls, every shelf pulsed with color, life, and motion. This is the core of building a world view. It's the understanding that a reader's heart can race for different reasons. One day, they crave the high-stakes, godlike power of a Tower of God, where every floor presents a new, deadly challenge and the fate of countless lives hangs in the balance. The next, they seek the comforting, relatable warmth of a true beauty, where the battles are internal, fought with insecurities, friendships, and the terrifying thrill of first love. This ecosystem allowed both to not just exist, but to thrive side by side. The office worker escaping into a fantasy epic and the student navigating a romantic comedy were both part of the same grand, interconnected community. They were different adventurers in the same massive, sprawling city, each following their own unique quest line. This diversity became the platform's greatest strength, creating a rich and self-sustaining narrative ecosystem. A reader could binge an intense saga about a hunter battling monstrous beasts in a dungeon, and then, with a single swipe, cleanse their palate with a heartwarming story about a cat running a coffee shop. This variety ensured that there was always a new world to discover, a new character to fall in love with, a new art style to marvel at. It was a testament to the vision that everyone has a story, and every story has its audience. He wasn't just curating content, he was overseeing the growth of a living, breathing story verse, a digital continent where every creator could plant their flag and build their own animated kingdom, contributing to a collective modern mythology that was as diverse, complex, and endlessly fascinating as its readers. In so many of the stories we love, there comes a pivotal moment where the hero is offered a choice. They can take a shortcut, a path of lesser resistance that promises quick power but corrupts the soul, or they can stay true to the difficult, principled path they first set out on. The legacy of Go Gun-hee is defined by the fact he consistently chose the latter. His philosophy was not that of a cynical merchant king seeking only profit, but that of a master artisan or a wise sage. True, enduring value is never created by chasing trends, but by nurturing a genuine, unwavering love for the craft itself. His ultimate move was integrity. Imagine a world where the platform had succumbed to the easy path. It could have become a factory, churning out cheap, repetitive copies of whatever was popular that week. The algorithms could have been tuned only for addictive, empty calories of content designed to maximize screen time, not to nourish the imagination. But that was not his vision. He understood on a fundamental level that the readers, the fans, could feel the difference. They can feel the love in the lines of a carefully drawn panel, the heart poured into a character's dialogue, the ambition of a uniquely constructed world. He championed a culture where the creator's passion was the most valuable currency. He was building a sanctuary for artists, not an assembly line. This created a special kind of magic, a positive feedback loop of inspiration. When creators are supported and their unique voices are celebrated, they produce their best, most authentic work. That authentic work, in turn, ignites a fiercer, more devoted passion in the readers. Fans don't just passively consume, they become evangelists. They create fan art, write lengthy theories in online forums, and form communities around the stories they love. This vibrant, organic energy is something that cannot be manufactured or bought. It can only be cultivated, and it grows from a single seed, a sincere and profound respect for the creative spirit. Go Gun-hee was the gardener who ensured that seed had fertile ground in which to grow. His legacy, therefore, is not etched solely in financial statements or user metrics, but in the very culture of modern storytelling. It's a legacy written in the excitement of a reader discovering their next favorite series, in the triumph of an artist seeing their creation come to life, and in the global community that has formed around a shared love for these dynamic, scrolling epics. He demonstrated that the most powerful empire you can build is one built on joy, that the most resonant stories are those born from passion, and that the most enduring success comes from staying true to the simple, powerful dream that started it all, a belief that everyone deserves a great story. He was the guardian of that dream, and his legacy is the boundless, animated universe that dream made real.